Dear friends, I really need your support. Please subscribe to my channel and help me out. Thank you so much. When I was 14, I witnessed a tragedy that shattered my world. My mother's newborn daughter died during a home birth, a devastating loss that unfolded in the dim light of our bathroom. Hours later, she returned from the hospital cradling another woman's baby, a stolen infant she claimed as her own. She forced me to keep silent, her voice low and menacing, warning that if I ever spoke the truth, she would kill the child before facing justice. For 2 years, I lived with that secret, trapped in fear, loving the baby we called Lily but knowing she wasn't ours. When I finally found the courage to contact the authorities, leading to my mother's arrest, her lawyer delivered a chilling message. She had vowed to kill her daughter if caught, but never clarified whether she meant Lily or me. My parents had yearned for another child for years, their marriage strained by the longing. When Mom announced her pregnancy, Dad's face lit up with hope, calling it a miracle. But I carried a secret that gnawed at me. Months earlier, I'd caught Mom with her fitness trainer, their intimacy undeniable. She pulled me aside, her eyes desperate, and begged me to stay quiet. "Your father must never know," she whispered. "This baby will hold our family together." I was only 14, desperate to keep our fragile family intact, so I swallowed the truth, unaware of the horrors that would follow. Watching Dad prepare for the baby was agonizing. He spent evenings assembling a crib, painting the nursery in soft pastels, and buying tiny clothes, his excitement infectious but built on a lie. I wanted to tell him the baby wasn't his, but Mom's plea echoed in my mind, and I stayed silent, hoping the baby would somehow save us. Nothing could have prepared me for the nightmarish events that came next. Mom went into labor while Dad was away at a medical conference, his absence a cruel twist of fate. She refused to go to the hospital, insisting on a home birth. I suspect she feared medical tests would reveal the baby's true paternity. At 3 a.m., in the cold, sterile light of our bathroom, it was just the two of us when everything went wrong. The baby emerged lifeless, her tiny body blue and still. Mom's frantic attempts to revive her failed, and we sat on the blood-soaked floor, cradling the infant as grief and panic consumed us. Dad's voicemails played on Mom's phone, his voice brimming with joy about meeting his daughter, unaware of the tragedy. Then, in a chilling shift, Mom grew calm. "She can't know," she said, her voice steady. "Get ready, we're going to the hospital." I thought she meant to report the stillbirth to seek help, but her plan was far darker. She parked at the hospital's emergency entrance and told me to stay in the car. Using an old volunteer badge from her days of charity work, she slipped into the hospital unnoticed. 40 minutes later, she returned, holding a newborn girl, not ours, stolen from the nursery. She claimed the baby's mother was a teenage drug addict, that the child was better off with us. It was a lie. The real mother, Alyssa, was a 17-year-old who loved her daughter deeply, a fact I wouldn't learn until later. I protested, my voice trembling, insisting it was wrong, but Mom slapped me hard across the face, the baby in her other arm. The sting lingered as we drove home with a stranger's child, while somewhere in the hospital, Alyssa was left to grieve her missing daughter. Mom called Dad, her voice thick with feigned joy, saying she delivered early and named the baby Lily. He rushed home, overjoyed, unaware of the deception. Meanwhile, missing child posters with Lily's picture began appearing across town, each one a silent accusation that tore at my conscience. I begged Mom to return Lily to end the lie, but she delivered a terrifying ultimatum. "If anyone finds out Lily dies, I'll smother her before they take me." Her words were a blade, sharp and cold, and I was trapped. I loved Lily, her bright eyes and tiny hands, but I knew she belonged to someone else. I researched safe haven laws, anonymous drop-offs, anything to return her without risking her life, but Mom watched me like a hawk, her threats ever present. She'd stroke Lily's hair gently while repeating she'd kill her, her tone both loving and lethal. Dad and I grew to cherish Lily. He'd hold her up to old photos, convinced she had his nose, his smile, blind to the truth. Lily called me Sissy, clinging to me during thunderstorms or when she scraped her knee. I adored her, even as guilt consumed me. I spent nights searching online for ways to contact Alyssa safely, but Mom's vigilance never wavered. When Lily turned 2, she fell gravely ill with pneumonia. The hospital demanded her medical history, which we couldn't provide. Mom's vague answers raised suspicions, especially with Dad, a surgeon who understood genetics. When doctors suggested genetic tests to rule out conditions, Mom's composure cracked. The tests revealed Lily's blood type didn't match either Mom's or Dad's. Dad, confused but determined, ordered further tests, brushing off Mom's objections. That night, she packed a bag, planning to flee with Lily despite her fragile condition. I couldn't let Lily die from neglect or Mom's desperation. From a hospital bathroom, heart pounding, I called a tip line, giving our names and Lily's location. When I returned to Lily's room, Mom was holding her, humming softly, unaware of the police closing in. When they arrived, she saw them through the window and knew I'd betrayed her. "I warned you," she hissed, pressing her hand over Lily's nose and mouth. I screamed, and nurses rushed in, pulling her away and reviving Lily as police restrained Mom. Dad stood frozen in the hospital corridor, his world collapsing as he learned Lily wasn't his, that she'd been stolen. The next day, Lily was reunited with Alyssa. From across the hospital lobby, I watched Alyssa collapse, sobbing as she held her daughter after 2 years apart. But Lily, confused and scared, reached for me over Alyssa's shoulder, crying, "Sissy." Sissy, she didn't understand that this weeping stranger was her mother. As they led her away, Lily's cries echoed, tearing at my heart. I'd saved her, but I'd also shattered her world. Mom's lawyer delivered her message the next day. I said I'd kill my daughter if caught. I never said which one. The words sank like poison, my hands trembling as I realized she might mean me. Dad stumbled out of the hospital, his face vacant, unable to process the betrayal. A kind nurse guided me to a chair, offering water I couldn't hold steady. In a fluorescent-lit room, Detective Adelaide, a compassionate officer with soft eyes, took my statement. I recounted the home birth, the stillborn baby, the theft from the nursery, and Mom's relentless threats. My voice broke as I described calling the tip line, the weight of my decision crushing me. Adelaide assured me I'd done the right thing, but her words felt hollow. Lily was safe but traumatized, Dad's heart was broken, and Mom's threat loomed over me. A social worker, Mrs. Kim, drove me home since Dad had left alone. The house was eerily silent, Lily's absence a gaping wound. Mrs. Kim found Dad in his study, staring at photos of Lily, her first birthday, her wobbly first steps, her laughter in the backyard, all built on lies. Before leaving, Mrs. Kim ensured Dad would look after me, but once she was gone, he locked himself in his room. His muffled sobs seeped through the walls as I sat outside, hugging my knees, feeling utterly alone. Reporters swarmed our house, their calls relentless. I unplugged the phones, turned off my cell, and ignored the doorbell as news vans gathered outside. I locked every door, drew every curtain, and spent that first night checking the locks repeatedly, haunted by Mom's hand over Lily's face and Lily's cries for me. The next morning, Dad emerged, hollow-eyed, making coffee he didn't drink. In a heavy silence, he asked how long I'd known the truth. I told him about Mom's affair, my silence to protect our family, the stillbirth, and the theft. He lurched to the sink, vomiting, his hands gripping the counter. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked, his voice breaking. My explanations, fear being only 14, Mom's threats, felt inadequate. He left again, destination unknown, leaving me alone with Lily's toys scattered in the living room, her crayon drawings on the fridge, her sippy cup in the sink. I couldn't bear to touch them, each item a reminder of the lie we'd lived. That afternoon, Dad's lawyer, Mr. Brennan, arrived, needing details about Mom's pregnancy and her hospital badge, which hadn't been deactivated. It made me wonder if she'd planned the theft as a contingency for a failed birth. I retold the story, each repetition feeling more surreal. Mom faced charges of kidnapping, child endangerment, and attempted murder. The thought of testifying terrified me, but I nodded, determined to do it for Lily. Mr. Brennan revealed Mom had refused bail, choosing to stay in jail with phone and letter privileges. Her threat about which daughter felt like a promise she could keep from behind bars. Her first letter arrived 3 days later, written on prison stationery in her precise handwriting. It was deceptively normal, asking about school and complaining about jail food, but a postscript chilled me. A girl my age had been hurt in an accident. "Such dangerous roads, be careful," she wrote. I showed Dad, who crumpled it, then smoothed it out, his hands shaking. The next letter described a dream of me falling downstairs, urging me to hold the railing. Mr. Brennan warned that such vague threats were hard to prove. I changed my school route, and Dad drove me along different streets daily. We installed new locks and security cameras, but Dad barely slept, checking the monitors at night. I caught him watching me sleep at 3 a.m., his face etched with worry. Mom's third letter included a news clipping about a house fire that killed a 16-year-old, her age circled. She wrote about praying for the family, but the message was clear. Dad took it to the police, but it wasn't enough to act on. School became my escape until classmates learned about the case. Some pitied me, others avoided me, their whispers cutting deep. My friend Max stayed loyal but grew uneasy about Mom's letters. Then I noticed a dark sedan with tinted windows outside school every day. Police traced it to Josephine, Mom's former cellmate, recently released. Dad pulled me from school, and we stayed with his brother 3 towns away, but Mom's letters followed, mentioning a diner we'd visited. "Family support must be nice," she wrote, her words a quiet threat. Our mailbox was smashed when we returned home, a blatant warning. That night, a rock crashed through my bedroom window, a note in Mom's handwriting tied to it. "Sleep tight, darling." Police increased patrols but couldn't be there constantly. Dad took leave from work, sleeping outside my room with a baseball bat. Mom's daily letters grew darker, detailing accidents and illnesses befalling girls my age, never explicitly threatening me. A restraining order was denied for lack of clear evidence. Then Mom slipped up. She broke a no-contact order by calling home, her voice sweet as she asked about school, then mentioned Benjamin, a boy at my school who'd been watching me. "Such a nice boy," she said. Dad gave the recording to Detective Adelaide, who found photos of me in Josephine's apartment. Me walking, shopping, even through my window. Josephine was arrested for stalking, but Mom's letters continued, now accusing me of betraying her friend, who was keeping me safe. Dad mapped her prison contacts, uncovering a network of ex-inmates. Another former cellmate, Jamie, contacted Mr. Brennan, terrified. Mom had offered her $5,000 to arrange an accident to hospitalize me, where a contact would finish the job. Jamie refused but feared Mom would find someone else. Her tip led to recordings of Mom calmly planning my harm. That same day, a music box arrived at school, playing Lily's lullaby with a note. "For my daughter." Both of them. It was clean of any danger, but the message was unmistakable. Mom had killed one daughter and could kill another. At a hotel, a false fire alarm forced us outside, where I saw Josephine watching. Our room reeked of Mom's perfume, a photo of her stealing Lily left on my pillow. The hotel cameras had mysteriously failed. Dad, desperate, contacted Alyssa's lawyer, who suggested Alyssa file a civil lawsuit against Mom to demand answers about her dead baby, hoping to distract her. Alyssa agreed, not for us but for closure. The lawsuit infuriated Mom, who attacked an inmate in prison, landing in solitary. Her network began to unravel as inmates turned on her for crossing moral lines. Josephine made one final move, grabbing me at a gas station. I fought back, using self-defense moves I'd practiced, and screamed. A bystander held her until police arrived, finding rope, tape, and Mom's instructions in her car. Josephine turned on Mom, providing evidence that dismantled her network. Mom was transferred to a maximum security prison, her privileges revoked. She agreed to plead guilty to life without parole, but demanded to reveal the truth about Alyssa's baby. In a high-security prison meeting, shackled and emotionless, she admitted the baby was stillborn, hidden in our garage freezer, then buried in the woods. She provided a map for police to recover the remains. Alyssa, watching via video, sobbed, finally able to grieve her lost daughter. Mom stared into the camera, knowing I was watching, her eyes cold and empty. Her last secret was exposed, her power gone. Dad and I returned home, packing away Lily's toys and clothes, repainting the walls, trying to reclaim our space. Dad started therapy, grappling with the betrayal. I went back to school, where Max shielded me from gossip. We adopted a dog, a scruffy mutt who brought laughter back into our lives. Alyssa sent a letter with a photo of Lily, smiling on a swing, thanking us for saving her. I cried, holding the photo, knowing I'd saved her but lost her forever. Dad and I grieved together, his arms around me as we mourned our broken family but clung to hope. Mom's guilty plea brought justice, but healing was ours to find. We considered moving but stayed, refusing to let her win. New friends, Dad's kind girlfriend, and our goofy dog helped us rebuild. The fear lingered, a faint shadow, but we chose to live, to laugh, to move forward. Mom's lies had shattered us, but they couldn't take our future. We were survivors, rebuilding our lives piece by piece, determined to find peace.